Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our monthly orientation training for OU Campus. My name is Billy Woody, and I am a software trainer here at Omni Update. In this session, we are going to overview some basic end-user functions. During this presentation, I'll be working in a sandbox environment, but if you're an existing customer, you can follow along in your own instance as the platform functionalities will be the same. I'll be logged in as a level 8 user, so please be aware that depending upon your own personal user level and individual user permissions, you may be restricted from some of the functionalities I am going to be going over today. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode as this session is being recorded. If you have questions during the presentation, you may submit it by clicking on the Q&A section located at the bottom of your screen. Please note, the Q&A section may not be available if you are viewing this webcast through the browser. You may need to install and view the webcast through the Zoom extension for access to the Q&A section. I will attempt to address your questions as we go along. There will be a Q&A section at the end of the presentation as well, where I will answer as many remaining questions as time will allow. If I do not get a chance to answer all of your questions during the webcast, I will email you an answer afterwards. And with all that said, let's go ahead and begin. Again, this is your Omni Update Monthly Orientation Training. That is me. I am Billy Woody. I am your lovely software trainer today. Today, our agenda is we're going to be going through logging in through OU Campus, going over the interface, some basic page editing. We're going to be creating some new content, uploading some content, and of course the Q&A. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and go ahead and take a look. Today we're going to be working in our sandbox environment, which is our made-up university, our Galena University. And so what we're going to do is talk first about logging in, and we use what is called the direct edit link. And what the direct edit link means is that instead of logging into a sort of a central location where you log in and then you navigate to wherever it is you need to go work, you instead go to your website and you navigate to the page you wish to begin working on. So in this case, let's say we want to begin working in the athletics page. We're going to navigate to our athletics page and navigate to the page we want to work on, which is, for example, here, the Galena Gophers page, which this is the page we want to work on. And in our particular instance here, our login is at the bottom of the screen, right here where it says last updated. In some instances, it might be the copyright symbol, it might be the logo, it might be a little hidden icon over here on the left or bottom right. It could be a number of different places. But in our instance, it just happens to be this last login. We'll click on this. This does bring me to this login screen here, where I will then log in. As I mentioned, I will be logging in as a level 8. And you'll notice once I do log in, this will drop me off directly onto the page that I was navigating to. So now I can begin to work directly right on this page. So let's go over the interface here so we can see exactly what we are looking at. The top of the screen on the this blue bar here, this is what is called our blue global navigation bar. The first one is our dashboard. This is where we have our overview, workflow in our inbox. So we have an internal email system here, so that way you can email admins or email colleagues within the system itself. And of course, your overview dashboard, which will have all of the work that you're working on and workflow that's going on within the system. Content, able to navigate throughout the system, through your pages, assets. And again, depending on the level you are, there are additional items that can be seen underneath the content menu. Reports, you have different reports that are available to you. And again, depending on your user level, there'll be different items that will be available. And then add-ons, these are shortcuts that are stored here for you to get to easily. We have the marketplace, which is currently set up here for you to get to. On the far right-hand side here, we have what is called our global search. By clicking on this, this brings up the global search tool. This allows you to search internally within the site. This is not an external search tool for, say, for example, your site visitors. This is for you to search internally within the site. So not only is it searching for individual pages, but it actually allows you to search for the source code within the site as well. So if you're searching for pieces of code or something that might be on certain different pages throughout the site, you can search for it here and it'll find those individual pages throughout the site. So you can go find those pages to edit those. This happens to be the user is logged in. You can go to your settings or log out of your account. And then over to the far right is your help menu. By clicking on any of these will get you to the different support areas that are available to you. The first one, of course, is the Omni Update support site. By clicking on this, this brings you into the OU Campus support pages. And then after that, we also have our community and our feedback forum, and of course, the release notes for the actual site itself. The gray bar underneath this, this is what is called our breadcrumb bar. This is giving you a bird's eye view as to where you are currently within the site. So here we are in the pages view, and we're in the root directory, we're in the athletics folder, and we're on the gophers.pcf page. So this gives us a really quick view as to where we are. All the way on the far right, we are in the Galena site. So if you happen to be in an account that has multiple websites, for example, if you work at a school where you maybe have multiple campuses and each campus has their own website, you might have a drop-down menu here and each location would be listed here so that way you could go and edit each individual location. So that's what this little thing is here. But of course, we just have the one site here, so we don't have a drop-down menu, just the one individual site. Over here to the left-hand side, we have our Page Actions toolbar. And so we have different items that are available here. The first one is the preview. This is going to give us, of course, a preview of our page, and this is going to give us as close as possible an exact representation of what we would see on the live site. So if there are anything like a broken link or a missing image or anything like that, it is going to show and display that here on this individual page. Edit is going to give us the edit view. This is going to bring us into the editing region. And this, you see this does bring up our green buttons here to bring us into the editing region of the page. Over here is the properties menu. Just brings us to the area to editing for the different properties. And you'll notice here we have this little light bulb. This is our check-in and check-out system. Currently, the light bulb is off, which means we do not have this page checked out to ourselves, or it's not checked out to anybody else either. So if I click on this now, this light bulb turns yellow. It is now checked out to us, or checked out to me for this particular demonstration here. Once I've done that, you'll also notice I have another little menu item that pops up here called parameters. So this does bring up some other parameters for this page that I can now see, that I can then come here and also potentially edit if need be as well. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about with this is, when this is checked out, this means that only one person at a time can edit this page. So when this is checked out, if anybody else came in here to try to edit this page, and I had this page checked out, they would see a little lock symbol here. They would hover over it and they would have my name, Billy Level 8, listed here as the person who had this checked out. They would not be able to check this page out. They couldn't edit it. They couldn't do anything with this. If they did need to edit this page, they would have to contact me to either check this page back in or contact an admin who could force this page back in. Preferably, the admin would contact me to make sure that I could release the page. That way, there would be no changes that were lost that had not been saved or anything like that. So that'd be something to be mindful of before contacting an admin. Try to contact the person who does have the page checked out first. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about in terms of the system that you're working on here, when you are working on a page, you are working on what is called the staging server. OU Campus is built on what is called a decoupled system, meaning that there are two different servers that are working in conjunction with one another. When we are here working on our pages, we are working on what is called our staging server. So all the work we are doing here is on a server that is not accessible to the outside world. So everything we do here, no matter how many people are working on different pages, none of this stuff is affecting our public server or what is called the production server. So that way there's no lag time, no degradation to access by the page visitors on the public side. So we could have 100 people working on the website at one time, and website visitors would never have any downtime or slowdowns while we're all working on the system. Only once pages are done and published out by hitting on this publish button do they get pushed out to what is called the production side of the production server. Over on the far right-hand side here, we have what is called our gadget menu. Here, the gadget menu has a bunch of different gadgets that are available to us to use. The gadgets are what are called contextual, meaning that they will appear and disappear depending on where we are within the software. So for example, if I open up an editable region, main content here, you see a few more items do pop up here because those are items that are available for me to use. If I click back out of this region, you'll notice a couple of the gadgets then disappear. One of the main gadgets I want to point out to you while we are here is this main checked out, or my checked out content here. This will show me all of the pages that I currently have checked out. This is important because as we are navigating through the site, we are looking at pages, things like that, we may inadvertently check out a page and forget that we've checked it out. And as I mentioned earlier, once you do check out a page, nobody else can edit that page once it's checked out. So a good best practice as a content editor within OU Campus is at the end of your workday, when you're done working, is to go to your gadget menu, open up the My Checked Out content, and go here and check and see what pages are checked out to you. If there's a page checked out to you that you don't need, click on the icon and check it back in. So that way all the pages you don't need are checked back in, so that way whoever does need to have the page can get that page back and go ahead and use it. So again, it's just a best practice to begin to make part of your daily routine while you are working. So, all right, so let's go ahead and begin to do a little bit of editing to our page. So to begin editing the page, we do need to have the page checked out to us. Now we can go ahead and check the page out first by clicking on the checkout content. But if we just click on a region, it will automatically check the page out to it. So by clicking on main content, you'll notice it does check the page out to us and put us into the edit mode. Now you'll notice once we do that, it does highlight the region that we are going to be editing, and it grays out the rest of the page, but leaves us all in the context of that page so we can see how everything is going to look in context of that page. You'll also notice that our toolbar pops up here on top of the screen, and this is what's called our Just Edit toolbar. So depending on how your toolbars are set up, because the toolbars can be customized on a per user or per section base, some of these features may or may not be seen in your own personal toolbar, but some of these items pretty much will always be there. Things like the save and exit, which is a little disk icon that's here. This is going to be an exit without saving. This last one here is a restore last draft. This will become important if you are working on your page and let's say the power goes out. The network goes out. Something happens like that where you don't get a chance to save the work you've been working on. When the network does come back or the power comes back and you reload this page back up, this icon will no longer be grayed out. You'll actually be able to click on this and this will restore all of the work that you've been doing because it is saving it as you're doing it. So this will restore all the work you've done even if you haven't actually physically saved the work, which is a really nice fail safe, which is good. All right. So let's go ahead and do some more changes in here. And we'll go back over into here. And we're going to do some changes to our text in here. All right, so in order to do some changes to our text, it's a pretty simple, easy text editor. So if we wanted to make some changes, let's say, for example, we wanted to come in here And let's just add some spacing here. We wanted to make proud history, and we wanted to make this instead maybe a heading or something like that. We wanted to maybe delete this sentence entirely. And then let's see, we'll capitalize this. And I'm just going to add a new sentence. Here is a new sentence. And then I'm going to just, again, maybe change the look and feel of some of this in here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save this out. So now that I've saved it, you see my changes here are instantaneous because this is what is called a WYSIWYG editor. So what that stands for, of course, is what you see is what you get. So as I'm making my changes, I actually see the changes actually happening here live. So I actually see everything that's going on. So now that I've made some changes, let's say I wanted to actually just save this as a version. I don't want to publish it out. I don't want it to be live, but I do want it to be a version that I want to save for later. So I can come over here to this little box with a down arrow and click on it, which says Save Version. By clicking on this, this brings up my Save Version window. And here I can give it a description. So here I can say I added a heading, change the text style, and deleted some text. All right. Now, again, another best practice here, I do recommend when you do save a version of a page, you do add some kind of description to that version. The reason why, and you'll see here in a second once I do that, when I come here to the versions button, you see here I currently already have 16 versions of this page. This list of versions will never truncate. This will continue to grow. So at any time, at any point, I can revert back to any version throughout history. So it'll be nice if I have a description to go back to. So if I have a page that maybe is used over and over again through different times of the year, maybe at the beginning or end of semesters, or maybe seasonal, things like that that I want to go back to, I can then go back and look for that descriptive page and then revert back to it. So that way I can reuse that page again and just make whatever edits I want to make to that page. Now, looking here at my versions, I can see here that the one that's highlighted in green is my live version. Now, the one that I just saved, this one right here, version number 16. Now, what I want to do, though, is I want to compare the work that I've been doing to my live version, so I can see what the difference is from the live to the current version. So if I hover over the live version and I select Compare, what this does, this compares what is currently live to the work that I am doing. So anything that is colored in blue is something that exists both on the live version and the version that I'm editing, but the style has been changed. So I've either changed the color, the look, the feel, something's changed on it, but it exists on both pages. If it's in green, it's something that I have added. If it is in red, it's something that has been deleted. So this will give me a really quick bird's eye view glance of what's changed on the two pages. Now let's say after looking at all of this, I've decided, you know, this is just a big mess. I don't like any of this. I'm gonna go back to my versions here. I'm gonna go back to my live version, and I can just say revert. I'm going to confirm that. And then you'll notice when I go back to my edit, everything's back to where it was on that previous version. So everything's been reverted back. So I can kind of start again from scratch, which is kind of nice. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to go ahead and continue doing some more editing here. So we're going to go back into our main content. And now we're going to add in an image. So to add in an image to this page, I'm going to select where I want to add the image. So I want to add it here to the left of my text. And to do that now, I want to either right-click and select Insert Edit Image, or I can go to the menu and select Insert Edit Image here. Either one will work just fine, and either one will bring up the exact same dialog box, which is right here, the Insert Edit Image dialog box. Once it does, I can go first to the source, and then here to this button on the right-hand side here, This is my browse button. This will allow me to go and browse for my image. Now, when I click on this, this will bring me to whatever has been defined as the default image folder for that particular section. I can still navigate out of this to other areas if I need to, but this is the one that's been defined as the default image folder for that section. So I can come through here and I can select an image that I want. So I'm going to take this little Galena gopher here, and I'm going to drop it in. Now, once I've done that, you're going to notice something interesting here. You're going to see this little sort of alphanumeric number here. This is what is called a dependency tag. Everything within OU Campus, whether it is a page, an image file, a document like a PDF, gets what is called a dependency tag. Now you'll notice underneath here, it does have the full address to the file itself. Here's the JPEG file, but that JPEG file is represented by this dependency tag. The reason this is done is this keeps you from having broken links in the future. So say, for example, I've got this link to this Galena Gopher.jpg. Let's say sometime later somebody moves that Galena Gopher JPEG to a different folder. Somebody's been reorganizing and they've reorganized all the images someplace else. Normally what would happen, I would then have a broken link. That image would show up as a broken link icon. Well, because it is now represented by this dependency tag, it will automatically update that link no matter where it goes. So this file can get renamed and it can get moved anywhere within the site. It'll automatically update and the link will never be broken. That's the beauty of having these dependency tags. And it's all automated in the background, which is really nice. Your description is your alt text. This is required for your accessibility readers. So if I try to save this right now, I am going to get an error saying a description is required. So I'm just going to go ahead and just call this my Galena Gopher. And the tooltip is what you see when the cursor rolls over the image. Kind of like here, if I roll over any of my little icons here, it's the same thing. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Here for the dimensions, I can go ahead and type in a new dimension, a new size for this image. So this is going to be a little bit large. I want to make it a little smaller. So I'm just going to make it maybe 250. And instead of hitting enter, I'm just going to click out of this. And because constrained proportions is already set, it'll automatically size it up. Now, depending on your individual instance and how your design is set up, you may or may not have some individual classes that are set up for images. If you do, you can go ahead and set this up here and change your class. I do have a question here from Karen. If a file is moved, like an example of the image, will be notified about the change so the path is not affected when you publish. You won't be notified. It'll just automatically be updated. So you don't, nothing really, it just all happens in the background. Did that answer your question, Karen? Hopefully that does. On the productions, let's see, the file moves. Yeah, it moves it on the production server. Yes, it moves. Everything gets moved accordingly. If it's moved on the staging server, it will automatically, once the file is republished, it moves it on the production server as well. All right. The ID is basically it's used for anything. There's nothing set for this. So some schools like to just have different ID tags they want to use for different images or anything else. So it's basically just an open area to place any information you need there. And that's what that is for. Next, under the Appearance tab. Here, let's say we want to take our image and we want to align it to the left of all the text. Here we're seeing an example right now that the image is just basically in line with the text. So we're going to align it to the left instead, and we see here now the text is wrapping around our little sample image here. But it's also butting up really quickly or really closely here to the left. We don't want that. We want to add some horizontal spacing here. So I'm going to come here to the horizontal spacing. I'm going to add in 10 pixels. And again, I'm just going to click out. You don't want to hit enter because enter is going to automatically hit OK, and it's going to drop us out of this dialog box. So I'm going to click out of it, and we're going to see it's added the 10 pixels here. but it's also added 10 pixels on the left-hand side, which we don't want. So if we look down here at the bottom here, we see the style that it's creating. It's created the float left, which we want. It's created the margin to the right of 10 pixels, which we also want to keep. But it's also created this margin left 10 pixels, which we don't want. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to backspace and just click anywhere. And we see it deletes that margin 10 pixels and it goes away. So I can now just click OK. And it drops it in there. And we have our image. Now, if I want to, I still can click on it here. And I can go ahead and size this up, or size it down rather, and make it even smaller right here on the screen. Now, depending on, again, how your individual settings are set up for your individual installs, some institutions will disable the ability to size and resize an image on the page. A lot of times, some marketing departments will automatically resize and pre-size images, and they just want you to place them on the page, so they will disable the ability to resize an image on a page. So just make that note that if you do try to resize an image and it won't do it, that's probably why it's been turned off in your setup menu. So that's what we are seeing there. If you do want to add links to an image or anything else, I'll show you how to do that in just a second here. Will the styles then be added as inline styles? Yes, they will. Yes, and I'm not in a user level that shows the code settings, but if we were actually in a level where I can get into the code, we can actually see how everything is shown in the code there, and you would actually see everything listed there, Karen. All right. Okay, so next we're going to move into adding in links to all of this. So to begin adding in links, we're going to select the text that we want to add our links to. And so the first one we're going to do is we're going to go over here to this prospective athletes. And to add a link to this, you can either right click and select Insert Edit Link, or you can come up here to the icon and select Insert Edit Link. Again, both will do the exact same thing and bring up the exact same dialog box, which is this right here. So for this one here, this is going to be an internal link. This is going to be a link to a page within the site itself. So for this, we're going to come into here. We're going to again select our Browse button. And we're going to browse into the prospective athletes page, which is right here. So by clicking on this, we can actually see the page that we want to go to. So, yep, this is definitely the page that we want. So we're going to select Insert. And again, we see that lovely dependency tag here. So again, should this page ever move, get renamed, or anything like that, this dependency tag goes along with it and will automatically update. Again, the title is what we see when we float over it. So I'm just going to copy that and place it right here. If I did want to change the text that's being displayed here, I can go ahead and type that in here now and change that if I wanted to. The target is what's going to happen when I click on it. Since, again, a best practice, because I'm clicking on something that's an internal page, typically you leave the target as none, since it's going to open up in the same window. If you're going to target something outside of your site, that's usually when you target outside into a new tab or a new window. So this is all internal, so I'm going to leave this as none, and we will select OK. The next one is for a page outside of the site. So here we'll create a link for Google. And so for this one, we'll select from here, Insert Edit Link. And this one we'll just type in .com. And again, our text to display, we'll just do this. And this time our target will be new window. Now, this may open a new window, it may open a new tab. It really just depends on the end user and how they have their browser set up. Now you'll notice here that when I do select OK, I will get a little informational error. This is letting me know that you do need a fully qualified web address. So it is prompting me that I do need to have the http:// but if I do click OK, it will automatically add it to it for me, so I don't have to do it. This next link we're going to create is a link to a document. So I want to link to a PDF file. So again, I can highlight it and just select the Insert Edit Link. Again, I'm going to navigate. I'm going to go to my PDF files here. There's my football schedule I want to link to. And I'm going to select OK for that one. Again, you see here a PDF tag even for a PDF, or a dependency tag for a PDF. And since I am going to a document, again, a best practice for that is to target a new window, even though it is an internal document. Since it is a document on the internal website, you do want to go to a new window. And again, you can have classes set up. So sometimes some schools will have a particular link class set up for documents, a link class set up for emails, things like that. So if you do have those set up, they might be in here. You would click on that to set up that particular kind of link. To do that, select OK. There we go. And you'll notice here's that little pop-up as we roll over it. You see the little tooltip come up. Now, the last of these is to set up an email link. Now, you'll notice here, if I right-click, there's no Insert Edit Email Link, just Insert Edit Link. So there is an icon, though, with a little envelope, which is your Insert Edit Email Link. So if I click on this, this does bring up a little bit of a different dialog box, prompting me for my email address. So I want to email to myself here. And the subject. And again, you do have that option for classes if you do have a class set up for that. And I can select OK. So there it is. Now, I really want this to say something other than email. So now that I actually have this set up, I can go ahead now and click on it and select Insert Edit Link. And I do see that it has actually created a mail to. And it does have with the subject heading and things like that here. So now I can come in here and go ahead and change this to say, you know, something like send an email to Billy, and make that also maybe my title as well. I don't have to worry about target because this is automatically going to open up whatever my default email is, and I can select OK. All right. So once all that is done and I'm happy with all of that, I can then come back over into here. And next thing I want to do is, before I save it, is I want to maybe come in here and do what is called a spell check. Now, the spell check within OU Campus in the pages itself here is a non-dynamic spell check, meaning that it's not spell checking as I am writing. So in order to do the spell check, I click on this and it looks for it. It doesn't see any misspelling words. So if I came in here and I misspelled some words now, I just typed in some garbage here, you see it doesn't see anything misspelled. But as soon as I turn on the spell check, now it sees it. And so I can then come over here and left click on it, and I can either add it to dictionary or ignore it, or if it was something that it thought it recognized, it would give me a suggestion as well. So that is how the spell check will work in here. You actually have to turn it on within here. Now, there is a spell check that also happens when you do go to publish your pages, which I will go through in just a bit as well. But that spell check is in here as well. And you do have to turn it on. As I mentioned, it is not a dynamic spell check. All right. A couple of other things I will mention as well before we save out this page. In your cut, copy, and paste tools here, depending on what browser you are using, these buttons, the paste and the paste as text, will not work in something like Chrome. They are turned off in Chrome for security reasons. So for example, if I came into here and I did this and I did a cut and I went back over here and I tried to paste it, I will get the error telling me that I need to use the keyboard shortcut. Again, this is for security reasons because it does not want a nefarious software in the background finding ways to paste code into your page without your knowledge in the background. So I do actually have to use the keyboard shortcut, the Control-V, to paste it in. So if you do find, you would click that and you get the error, that's why you are seeing that happen. So, okay, so now that we've made our changes here, we want to save this. We come and click on our icon here. This will save all of our changes. We can click on our preview and we can see all of our changes here. And if we want to publish this out now, we can go ahead and do that. We'll view this in a new window. So the prospective athletes page, there it is, that works beautifully. Google should open up in a new window, and it does. Our football schedule should also open up in a new window. It also does nicely. And then lastly, if I clicked on this, this would open up Outlook. I won't bother with that because it's ready to open up Outlook. And that worked out nicely. So, all right, so we're going to go back to our page here. You'll notice that once I publish the page, it automatically checked the page back in so that I can begin to use it and begin to edit it and do something else with the page as well. Brian has a question here. Add an auto pop a subject line in an email. You know, I'm not sure what the actual code is for the auto pop for a subject email. I would have to look that up for you, Brian. So I'll make a note of that and I'll try to get that back to you. I'll probably have to email you that exactly, but I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. So, but I will get that to you. All right. Okay, so we want to keep working on our page here. And next time we're going to start, you're welcome, Brian, absolutely. Next thing we're going to start working on here are what are called our reusable content options. The first one we're going to talk about are what are called snippets. So we're going to go back to the edit mode. We're going to go back to our page and select our main content. And we're going to just get a little bit of space here at the top of our page. And the reusable content, there are three different types. There's snippets, assets, and components. The first one, snippets, this allows the content editor to be able to edit the content of the snippet that's being added to the page, but the look, the feel, and the style is retained. So it's been already predefined, but the content editor can come in and actually change what is going to be displayed within that actual snippet. So let me show you that. So if I come here to my snippet tool, which is this little puzzle piece icon, and I click on this, our snippets are broken up into categories. Now, the categories are unique to each individual install. So depending on your school, you may have different categories than what you see here. Mine are just broken up into two: email campaign manager and generic. A lot of times they might be broken up into home page, they might be broken up into landing pages, to email, that kind of thing. So just really all depends on how yours is set up. I've got several that are set up here. I'm going to go with what is called the accordion, and I'm going to insert that onto my page. When I do that, you see this lovely little table. Doesn't look very pretty at the moment, but it'll all make sense here in a little bit. So we see here it's got a name, and it's got two columns here. It's got a heading column, and it's got a content column, and I've got 3 rows. So here's got some information on each of these. So here I've got a heading for this content, and this one here says I've got to add content, and I can use my WYSIWYG editor to do that. So here I've got heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3, and then here I can add some content. So in this first content here, I'm just going to go ahead, I might add a little image into here. I'm going to go ahead and pick myself another image. And we'll just make this a little bit smaller here. We'll just make this 100 by 133. We'll drop that in. Oh, need my description. Burgess. All right. All right, now you'll notice here that even though I made this smaller, that the image actually is large. And that is because, as I mentioned before, the style has already been predefined within the snippet itself. So there is a style that's already been set up that whatever the image is within here, it's going to be full width. So it's already making this image the full width of this content here. So if I came in here and I try to size this right now, it's not going to resize. So again, that's something to be mindful of depending on the snippets that you use and what's going on in here, that you might have something like this happen. So maybe in this next section here, I might want to add some new, just some basic content. Okay, here is some cool new content. And this last one, I'll just leave it as it is. And so we will do that. And then once I'm done, I can just hit the save button. Once that is saved, it renders out. And basically here is my accordion. Now, if I decided I needed to add an additional accordion element here, I could just come down here, right click in this, and I can say row, and I can say insert another row. Heading 4, more content, and save it. So now I have 4 of them. And just like that. So that's an example of a snippet that you can add to a page. And depending on, again, how your design is set up, most snippets can be used basically anywhere throughout the site. Some snippets you can use inside of another snippet. Some of these I can take an accordion snippet and put it inside of another accordion snippet. So I can have maybe an accordion snippet over here showing more information about something else. So a lot of times you'll see schools that'll use these to show information about different programs, different courses. So you might have a certain program that will then, within the accordion, show the different classes that are part of that program, that kind of stuff. So you can have a lot of information taking up just a little bit of space on a page because it all gets collapsed down into the individual accordion. So, all right, if you decide you don't want that snippet on the page anymore, you can just select it, right-click, and select Delete Table, and then it removes it from the page just like that. And that is a snippet. All right. The next thing, reusable content, is what is called an asset. Now, an asset, similar to a snippet, the look and feel and everything has already been predefined, but also all the content has been predefined. The content editor, the page editor, has no ability to actually edit the content of the asset. There are basically 5 types of assets. There's the web content. It's not really a web page. It's just called web content. It's built using what's called the WYSIWYG editor. There's a plain text, a source code, which is often used to do things like social media listings, news feeds, Twitter feeds, things like that. You have an image gallery, and you have things like a form. So you can create forms and live forms, things like that. I'm going to show you here an image gallery. So in order to get to the assets, those are found right here underneath this little sort of these spinning arrows. You click on that. Again, here are the different types. You have your web content, your plain text, your source code, your image gallery, and your forms. You can see they're all listed here, the ones that are built. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take, for example, the image gallery. If I select this, it shows me that I've got 10 images basically in here. My thumbnail sizes for these are 100 by 100. And you'll see that even my assets have dependency tags on them as well. So I can insert my asset to my page, and you'll notice when I do so, the asset itself is just this little green and white striped box. So it doesn't actually show anything here in the WYSIWYG editor. It just shows the green and white box. It's just a placeholder. Now this placeholder can still be moved around. I can move this anywhere I want on the page, but I can't do anything with it. I can't edit the contents of that. So to be able to see the contents of it, I have to save and exit. Once I do, then I'm actually able to actually see what that thing does. So now that I click on it, I can come in here and I can scroll through the image gallery. And so all the images in this image gallery are all pre-built and pre-done inside of the asset itself. Now, what's nice about assets is that once they are built, oops, let me go back over to my Gophers page. I jumped all the way out here a little too far. There we go. When an asset is built, you can go back and you can edit that asset at any point, and it will automatically update every single instance of that asset throughout the entire site. So if I use this asset image gallery on 15 different pages throughout the site, and I decided I wanted to update the images so that way it's updated with the latest images, I go update the asset one time, I republish the asset, and it'll automatically update all of those pages. Another great example for an asset, which I will show you guys how to build in just a little bit, is to create an asset for your tuition rates. So we create a tuition rate asset which has your current tuition rates, and so you can use that throughout your entire site when you're talking about your tuition rates, and then when the rates change for the next year, you just update the asset once and it'll automatically update the tuition rates throughout your entire site, which is really a nice thing. So, all right, so we can come back over into here and we can delete that asset, and then we can move forward. The next item of reusable content is what is called the component. The component is kind of a hybrid between the asset and the snippet. While the look and feel and all that stuff cannot be changed within the component. The content editor does have the ability to change the content. However, the content change is driven by form fields. So you actually are submitting a form for the content editor to fill out. And so let me show you how that kind of works here. So to get to the components, that's underneath this little atom symbol here. And so I'm going to select a component, which is basically going to prompt the user to select an image and give a description and a name to credit that image so it can place it onto the page with the proper credit. So here, I'm going to select in here the image with description and credit. This is the component. And you see here, it's going to prompt me to just go and select the image that I want. So here, I'm going to navigate to the images. So I'm going to go to my resources, images, we'll go to campus, and we'll go to our Burgess Hall again. And I'm going to give this a description. And you see here, optional. And then the credit. We'll just do initials here, and then we'll save it. And you'll see here, when it does that again, it's just putting this little blue bar as a representation. If I want to edit this, I can go back, I can click on it, click on the pencil and go back and edit it, or click on the X to get rid of it. If I click on the save and exit and go back, you'll notice what it'll do. It puts it here, puts the name in this little blue bar behind it, or this blue gray bar, and it puts the initials of the person who took the picture with the little copyright symbol next to it. So again, it's sort of a hybrid of the two. It's got all this formatting pre-built into the component itself. It automatically adds in the little copyright symbol to the person's name who took the picture and adds in this little blue bar behind the description of the picture as well. So that's kind of a simple idea of what the component can do. The components are a brand new tool that's been in use now for only about 4 or 5 months, and it's a really powerful tool that can do amazing, amazing things. So it's a lot of fun to play with, absolutely. So I highly recommend you checking it out. So, all right. So moving forward from the reusable content, back up here to this menu here. One menu button I have not looked at yet, which is what it's called our page check. When I click on this, you briefly saw these buttons when I published that page. These are what are called our page checks. Now, depending again on how your account is set up, you may or may not see all of these. Typically, most of you will see at least these three. The W3C validation tool, this is an HTML5 validation tool. Usually this is left just for the admins to look over, but sometimes they will leave this in here as well. But what this will do, this will run a page check and it'll look at your page and it'll check for spelling, links, and accessibility errors, and of course the W3C validation. I can run them one at a time by clicking on each one, or I can just click on run all, and it'll go through and it'll run through all of them and it'll look for any potential errors or problems. Okay, so I was looking at all of them. It shows here that I've got one spelling error. I can click on show the results. It sees my initials. I can then add it to the dictionary if I want to, or I can just leave it as it is, just ignore it for now, which is fine. No broken links, which is great. The W3C errors, I won't bother with. Again, that's usually done and dealt with the admins because it's an HTML issue. And then accessibility. Typically, this is going to be showing us things such as known problems and potential problems. As content editors, you are primarily going to be dealing with only known problems. Those are really the only issues that you have the ability to edit yourselves as a content editor. Those would be things like nested headers. Say, for example, you have an H1 header coming after an H2, something like that. Those are things that you might be, you're using maybe a bold as a header or something like that. Those are things that you would have the ability to fix and change. And those are problems that you would actually see showing up under a known problem. Potential problems, these are things that the accessibility checker sees, but it doesn't necessarily know for sure it's a problem. So it wants a human to kind of look at it. Now, sometimes it might see something like a text over an image. It might think there might not be enough contrast ratio. It might see some JavaScript that might cause some flickering. So it might want somebody to look at it to make sure there is no flickering, things of that nature. But again, that's usually done by somebody else who's going to look at it and either make an exception for those So that's what's going to happen with that. So typically, as a content editor, you're really only going to be concerned with the known problems themselves here. So, all right. And so once you're done, you can come over here and you're ready to publish. You can then, of course, click on the publish button. And now, depending again on how your site is set up, sometimes these are set to auto run. When you click on publish, these may start running automatically. If they do start running automatically, a lot of times this button here will be grayed out as it is right now once this starts running. Once it starts running, this button will not come up until they get done running. And then also what may happen, you might have some criteria set up that unless everything passes or some of these things pass, the publish button will not come up as well. So sometimes you have to pass one or all or some of these in order for you to be able to publish this as well. So here it's set up so I can publish no matter what. So I can go ahead and I can publish this out, and I can come back over to here and I can just refresh the screen and I can see my page again. All right. All right. So this is how you would publish if I had the permissions to publish this page. Now there are other options for publishing as well. A lot of times there is a submission process that the content editors will have to go through in terms of publishing. And so let me show you how that works. I'm going to open up a second window here, an incognito window, and we're going to log in to the site as well here. All right, we'll log back into my athletics page again. All right, this time I'm going to log in as my level 6 user. So this page is available because it has been published and checked back out automatically. So I can check this page back out as my level 6 user. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to make some changes to this page here. And I'm just going to maybe make this bold or something else, do some changes here. I'm going to save it. And once it's saved, I'm ready to publish this page out. And you'll notice here, I don't have a publish button. I have a submit button instead. That's because I don't have the ability to actually publish this page directly out to the production server. I have to submit it out to whoever my approver is. So by clicking on this, this brings up my dialog box here. And whoever my approver is going to show up here on this box. And then I'm going to have a subject here. I'm going to say, please approve my page. And then here I'm going to give some kind of message. And here, again, a best practice is you want to be as descriptive as possible as to what you've done to your page. So I just changed the heading to bold. Something like that. So again, it makes it as simple as possible for whoever is doing the approval to see the changes you've made so they can approve the page. Also, you'll notice down here, you do have the option to send a copy to email. By default, it will send an internal email to that dashboard inbox. By clicking on send a copy to email, it will send an external email to whatever the email address is this user has on file. So they'll get an external email. So that way, if they're not logged in at the moment, they will get an email to either their school email or whatever personal email they have set up in the system. So I can submit it. And once I do, you'll notice the page gets locked out. This means I cannot go in and edit this page anymore. This keeps me from submitting a page for approval and then going in and making changes after the fact. And it keeps anybody else from coming in and making changes to this page. And since the level 8 is the approver, it's now owned by that level 8 user. So if I drop this page back down and I go to my dashboard as the level 8 user, you'll notice here under my checked out content, I have that athletics index page with this little thumbs up icon next to it. This is letting me know that this page has been checked out to me and it's been submitted to me for approval. So I can come over here and I have this little orange button here letting me know I can either decline it or I can publish it if I want to. So I can look at the page, and if I decide that I want to publish it, I can do that. If I decide I want to decline it, I can come here and I can decline, and I can give a reason why. And if the edits were so egregious that I want to revert it all the way back to the original, I can select revert to previous version. I can decline it and then go back over here to the default one and revert it back and send it all the way back as well. And so then it goes back, and then I can check it back in, and then the level 6 user will get the page back with the notes saying that the page has been reverted back, and they go back and finish doing their edits again. So that's how you would either submit a page to either be published or submit a page to be approved by somebody else. All right. Okay, so let's go back to our pages here, and let's go back to our Gophers page. And I want to talk about some of the other regions that are on the page other than the main content. Now, depending on the school, you might have some different regions available to you. You have what are called your side regions. So you have a content region over here on this one. Turn on the edit here. And right now I just have this one content region. Now, depending on how your pages are set up and what your design is like, you might have different ones. So here, if I have this checked out and I go to my properties menu and I come over to here, you see I do have a couple of options here. I've got a left column, which is on, and my right column currently, which is off. So if I come here and I turn my right column on, I can also turn things on like my quick links and my content region and directory navigation, and I can save that. And I come back and now you see I've got both the left column and a right column, and I have my navigation as well. So depending again on your setup, you may have the option to turn on and off different regions on your page. And you'll notice now I now have multiple regions that I can now edit within the page as well. Some other areas that can be edited within the properties menu are things like the page title and the breadcrumb. So if I go back over to our properties menu, here we have our page title and our page heading in here. So to show you exactly where they are showing up, I'm going to change this to page heading, and I'm going to change this to title. You can see exactly where they are showing up. And we're going to save this. There we go. Page heading right here, and title is in the breadcrumb. Now what's also nice is this can be edited within the gadgets in here. And so if we come in here to our page parameters, here's our page title. So if I wanted to change our page title to something different, so we'll just maybe change this to athletics. And we're going to come down here to our page heading. Also change it to athletics as well. Maybe athletics page. And then I can save it right here. And then we see the changes right here without having to actually go into the properties menu. So we stay right here on the page, and we just make our changes right here on the parameters. And we can do the same things here with turning off these different regions. So if I want to come in here and I want to turn off that right column and get rid of it and just have the left column, I can do all that here within my page parameters gadget as well. And then turn that back off and send it back off to the right-hand side. So it's one of the options that we have here as well. Now there's some other non-editable regions on the page that we work with that have to be edited basically in other areas. The first one I'm going to talk about is the navigation area, which is right here. This is what's called a side nav. Depending again on how your setup is, you might have a side navigation, you might have a top navigation, a bottom, it just really all depends. Typically it's what's called a side nav or an underscore nav file. So right now we've got basically these 5 pages that are right here. And this is all controlled by a navigation file. So if I go back out to my pages menu, so this is the page view right here. This is all my pages that are here. If I click on this side nav, here are those navigation items right here. So this side navigation menu is what's providing the information that we see right here. So when changes are made to that page, that's what we see right here. So if I came over to that menu here, let's say we wanted to change something, go back to our side nav, where it says tickets right here, I change this to get ticket with a capital G, and I saved it. And we go back over to our pages and we go to our Gophers menu. We see now it says get tickets right here. Now you'll also notice if I go ahead and I publish this page out and go back here to this menu, you'll also notice that the get tickets doesn't update. That's again because of the fact that that file is a separate file. It also needs to be published in order for this to update. So to make that happen, I do need to go to my side nav. If I select it, I can select publish from here, go back over to this and update this. And now we see it updated and I see the get tickets there. So if you are ever working on your system and you notice that you've either added pages, you've edited a side nav or something like that, and it doesn't seem to be updating correctly, 99 times out of 100, you just have not published out your side nav yet. So a lot of times what I have seen happen, a lot of places will automatically set their side navigations to auto-publish once an hour, once a day, something like that. If you are finding yourselves in a section that updates often, you know, more often than not, you have it published more often, but typically once a day or something like that, you might set your side nav to auto-publish. So, all right. Some other regions that are part of the page that are not editable on the page itself are things like the header and the footer we see here. Now, these are what are called global resource files or include files. And those can be found going back up to the root directory by clicking on the house inside of the resources folder. And we go to the includes. And here we have our header and our footer files. So if we go first over to our header, here we've got our 4 different files that are making up our header file right here. So the first one, for example, is our contact. So here we have our call us today number and our email, which you can see right here. Again, that information basically is just taking on whatever the CSS style is that's defining that. We have our logo. There it is. Right there. So if we change this, that logo is going to change on every single page. So whatever changes we make in this include file here is going to change on every single page within the site because every single page is using this header and footer. So here is our calendar directory in A to Z. Again, here is calendar directory in A to Z right here. And the last of these is the search include, which is the go and search here. And the go and search here. And to show you how that works, so say I came into here and we just change this here. Let's we added another search into that and we saved it. And we published it out. Let me back over to here and we refreshed it. Now it says search up there. So you can see how we've just added one change. We've added a little something to that to change it, and now it automatically has updated in the header. And so if we go back over here, we check this back out, and then we can delete, go back into here, and we can delete that little added word search we added in there. There we go. And save it, republish it. Come back in here, refresh, and it updates it and goes back to normal as it was before. So again, automatically, since that is what is called an include file, it updates all the pages. And just as it was with the header, same thing with the footer. All the information for the footer file are these 4 individual files here. Now again, depending on your own individual instance, you may see just a single footer file or a single header file, or you might have multiple. So it really all depends on how your design is set up. All right, now we're going to talk about creating some new content. So we're going to go back over and to our athletics page. And we want to go ahead and create a new page for us, Charles. In order to do that, we want to click on our new button. When you do this, this brings us into our new content dialog box here, which is going to show us the templates that are available for us. Again, yours would look different based on the templates and designs that you have available to you. You may have a lot more than this. You may have a less than this. It really just kind of all depends on how yours is set up. Also, your templates can be divided up into groups. So sometimes you might have template groups that are set up for different sections. You may have, for example, a news section where you may only have news templates that are available to you. So you might only have 1 or 2 templates available in a certain section. Just depends how you're all set up. So for here, we're just going to go ahead and take in maybe a 2-column page here. We'll select this 2-column content right. And we're going to go ahead and give this a page title. And we'll call this my new page. Description. This is what's going to be shown by the search engine. So if you've done any kind of searching, which I'm sure we all have, and when the results come up, you see the title for the page will show up usually in bold. And underneath that title, it's usually a small paragraph, a description of whatever that page is. This area here in this box, that's what the search engine is showing. So if you don't have anything in this box, it's just going to pull something off the web page and then put it into that description. So if you want to make sure that your page, when it shows up in a search engine, is displaying exactly what you want it to show for the description of that page, you want to make sure to fill that out. So I'm just going to throw in a copy of what the name of my page is for now, just to make it simple. File name. This is the actual file name of the page. Here it is important to read underneath this. File names using only lowercase letters, underscores, or dashes. So this means no spaces, no uppercase, no numbers. So I'm going to call this my new page, like that. And do I want to add this automatically to my navigation? I'm going to say yes, I do. And I'm going to create my new page. Now in doing so, I've gone ahead and I've created my new page. And if I want to add some content to this now, I can go ahead and do that and say, here is some new content to my page. I can add pictures, whatever I want. I can build my whole new page however I like. I can go ahead and do this. I can go ahead and save and go ahead and publish my brand new page. I can view my new page in a new window. And again, you'll notice I don't have my button. My new page button's missing. Not here. Again, that's because I've not published out my side nav. I come back here, I republish the side navigation. I come back here and I refresh this. There it is. My page button is there. So again, if your button's missing, more often than not, you just got to refresh and republish that side navigation. That'll take care of that. Okay. One of the other new items we're going to create here, because we are going to go through uploading content, is I want to be able to create a folder that I can upload some content into. So for example, I want to upload some images here in a few minutes. So I'm going to come back up to new, and I want to create what is called a binary folder. So this is a folder where I'm just going to store content. So I'm going to select create new folder. I'm going to call this underscore images and create. There we go. The underscore pushes it up towards the top of the listing so I can find it easily. So I've got just basically here just an empty folder that I can use to store binary files. So I can store images, PDFs, zip files, MP3s, MP4s, M4Ps, whatever I want to put in there, I can drop into these binary folders. Now, back under new content, here I've got individual pages that I've been creating. I've got individual file pages. One of the other options I have in here is what is called a section. A section here is basically going to create not only the folder, but it's going to create some initial starting content. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to create a new section for a whole new department. So let's say, let's go back up here to the, say in the athletics itself. Let's go ahead and stay here. Let's say we wanted to create a specific section for the football department. So we're going to come back up into new, and we're going to select new section. So this directory name, this is the name for the directory itself, and this is what's going to actually display up here after athletics. So here it might say the name of my school, galena.edu/athletics/what? What do I want it to say here? I want it to say football, or maybe football program, something like that. So I'm going to call it just football for now. And then for the page title itself, I might call it football program. And you'll notice here again, directory name just says no special characters, no spaces. Football program can be whatever I want, so I can have spaces here or anything like that. Again, here's my description. And do I want to add it to navigation? Yes, I do. And I'm going to create it. Now, when I create this, of course, it drops me into the page so I can begin to edit this if I want to. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and then I'm going to go back out of this. You'll notice when I come back out of this, all those other files I was looking at are gone, and that's because it's actually dropped me into that new football folder that it created. So if I go back out to my athletics directory, you'll notice it's created my football folder. Inside of the football folder, it's created a new side navigation for that section with the new landing page, the index file for that section itself. So if I want to make sure that all of that gets published out, I come into here. We can select both of the files. I can go ahead and publish it. And when I do, I get this dialog box that'll pop up. And I want to make sure to include any checked out files. So if I don't do that, any files that are checked out will not get published. I want to go ahead and publish that out. So if I click on my index file and I look at my versions, there's my live version here. I can view it. So I can actually see everything and how it works here. So all these pages now will work just fine, which is great. And if I want to make sure that the football folder is showing up in the navigation here, I do need to come in here and publish that out as well to make sure everything is showing up correctly. Football program. There it is. And that's how you add a new section to it. All right. All right, so now we've added a new section, we've added new pages. Now what we want to do is we want to begin to upload some new content to the site. So we are going to go into our images folder here. And once we are in here, we want to upload some content, and we're going to select upload. And then we're going to select add. And we are going to then come over here. Oh, my window opened up in a whole new screen. Let me bring it over here, drag it over. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and go into our sports folder. And maybe we'll bring in a couple of football images here. And we see it brings them into here. And once they're here, I can come in here and I can rename them now if I want to. I can select this and rename it, give it a different name if I like to. If I don't need to worry about that, I can just escape out of that. And then I can go ahead and start my upload and do it that way. I can also click upload, and instead of selecting add, I can bring that back up. And I can come into here and I can click and I can drag and I can drop an image into here as well and start my upload. Also, what I can do is I can come into here, I can click and drag, and I can drop it directly into the folder this way as well. So you have both options, actually all three of those options in terms of clicking, dragging, and dropping. So as long as you see that green highlighted region around it, it's a way for it to get everything loaded up into a page. Now there are some simple editing tools within OU Campus for editing your images. So if I do want to edit an image, for example, I can click on the image and come into here, and I can come in and I can do some cropping of that image if I want to. So I can come into here and say, for example, we wanted to crop this down a little bit. I can apply my crop. I wanted to resize the image. I can resize it. I can rotate, things like that, zoom in and out. And once it's done, I can either save it as it is or I can save it as a new image. And I do version 2 and save it. And so now I have a version 2 of that image. So I come back out, we see we have version 2 of that image. All right, so now looking at all these images here, if you're looking at this pages view, again, we're looking at our staging server right now. You'll see I have the ability to look at our production server. If I click on production right now, you'll see none of these images are on my production side right now. So if I come here and I check on this top box here, I will select all of them. I can select publish. And again, since that last image was checked out, I'm going to select include the checked out files and publish it. It'll publish all 5 files. So I click on production now. You'll see all 5 files are on my production side as well. So now I can go back over to my athletics page and maybe into my new football program here. I'm gonna go to my page and I'm gonna go to my main content and I'm gonna load up one of my images here. And so I want to now navigate to my new folders. So since this is going to one of the older folders, which I don't need, I'm going to go navigate back up to athletics, and I'm going to go to my images folder, which I just have here. So there we go. I'm going to insert that image into there. And I'm going to make that much smaller than it is. I'm going to drop that in like that. Save it. And publish that out. And there we go. We have our lovely image. Now, what often happens when you're working on a page is that you realize that when you're ready to place an image, you realize, well, you forgot to upload the image. So you're in here, you're looking around, you navigate up to your athletics department, you're in the images, and you're like, doggone it, picture's not there. Well, luckily, there's an upload button right here. So now you can come into here, you can go to add, and we can navigate around. We go, oh, there's the one. Those guys with the flag running around. We played Texas. We can bring that. Start our upload. There it is. We can insert that image. Make that again a little bit smaller. And select OK. So there it is. We've got that in there. So now we can go ahead and save it. Uh-oh. You'll notice now we see the broken image icon. That is again because I just now loaded up that image, and because this is trying to show me exactly what I would see if this were a live version. So since that Texas image has not been loaded up to the production side yet, it's only on the staging side, it's showing me the broken image. So if I went to publish this page right now, it will show me that this page contains links to an item that have not been published. It has what is called unpublished dependencies. So if I click on view files, there it is, that American football team 0 JPEG under the athletics images folder. Close it. So if I have this checked, it will automatically publish that image for me. I click publish. I can refresh this page. And we see now both images are showing up correctly. And I can come over here, actually just refresh this page as well. And there we go. Both images are showing up and showing up correctly. All right. So that is how you upload images and upload them up to the server and to the staging server as well. All right. Okay, so the next thing that we wanted to go over is how to create one of the reusable content tools, which is the asset. And so I wanted to go over that and how that works. So in order to do that, I want to go over to the content menu, go over to assets. I want to open this up in a new tab, which is over here. I want to create that tuition asset that I talked about before. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here to new. I'm going to select web content. When I do this, this opens up this creation tool. I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this tuition rates. And here I can give it a description. We'll just copy this. Current tuition rates. And here under access settings, you can determine who has access to edit this asset. So typically here, for something like this, this might be limited to something like administrators, or it might be limited to somebody like the registrar group or something like that. Whoever is going to be setting what the actual amount is for the tuition rate, they would be the ones who would actually be having the ability to edit that access. Now, who has the availability to use this asset to place it onto a page? You might set this to everybody, because whoever you want to be able to put this on a page somewhere, you leave this as everyone. Now down here for the asset content, here's where you would actually make the content. So here you would actually have the information. So the tuition rates for 2019 are $145 per credit hour, something like that. And again, since it's just a lovely little WYSIWYG editor, again, you can come into here, you can drop in a lovely little picture, try to make people not feel so bad about spending money. You can say, look at the lovely campus you're going to be spending all your money on. It's lovely getting to be here. If you want to change the appearance or something like that, you could do that as well. Come in here, let's change the size, make it a little bit smaller, and insert that. That's my description. Yep. Make sure my appearance is right. Yep, there we go. And we have all that, and it looks nice. And maybe we'll highlight this and make that bold so it's easy to read. There we go. All right, so we've created this. Let me create it. And now once I've done that, I want to publish it. I'm going to give it a description. So this is going to be my 2019 tuition rates and publish it. So there we go. So now I'm going to go back over to my athletics page here. And then under my main content, give myself a little room. I'm just going to my assets, go to my types here, my web content. There's my tuition rates. There's the display of what it's going to look like. I'm just going to insert it onto the page. There it is. I'm going to save it, publish it out. Okay. And if I refresh this, there it is. Tuition rates, 145 per credit hour for 2019. Year goes by, 2020 has come up. We're ready to update our tuition rates for next year. So I don't need to go through and find all the pages that have that tuition rate. All you do now is go back to this asset. I'm going to check it back out to myself. I'm going to select edit. The year is now 2020. Tuition rates have gone up to 155. And, you know, maybe we've added a new building or something, but I won't bother with that. So, but, you know, we can make any changes we want here. You know, welcome to the new year or something like that. Whatever you want to add to it. And save it, republish. And you'll see it automatically will tell you that there is one subscribing page. If there were 100 subscribing pages of this, it would let you know it's going to update 100 different pages with the new asset. Once it's done, you have to do nothing else. I can go back to my original page, refresh. It's been updated automatically with all the new content. One of the beauties about working with an asset, it is a wonderful tool. And that's how easy it is to make and change your asset. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if there's anything else we needed to go over today. Oh, one of the last couple things we wanted to go over in terms of publishing options. Underneath the publishing option, you do, of course, have the option to publish immediately, which is right now. I click on this and we can publish a page right now. Also underneath here with this drop-down menu, I can do what is called a schedule and an expire. So let's say, for example, I want my page to publish, but I don't want it to publish until Monday morning. I've been working on the page all weekend, but I don't need it to publish till Monday morning when school starts. So I can come in here and I can set my date and I can set my time and I can have it publish on that particular date. And then I can hit schedule and it'll publish on that particular date. And it'll set it up and it'll go. And then I also have it send me an email once it publishes out as well. And that'll happen. As I mentioned, one of the other things you can do, like for example, with the side navs, you can set those to schedule and auto-publish, for example, every day. So publish every day at midnight, and it'll automatically update your side nav and publish every day for you, so that we don't have to go back and remember to publish that side nav in case a page has been updated or added to a section. It'll automatically republish that side nav, so it gets updated all the time as well. One of the other options as well under here are doing things like to have a page expire. So let's say, for example, you have a page that is a temporary page that you want it to either go away and be replaced or just disappear completely. You can have a page expire. You can have it set a date for it to expire, and you can have it one of two different options. You can have it replace, which means that when the page expires, it'll replace it with a different page. So that means anybody who has a link to that page, it'll automatically redirect to your new page that you have. If you select recycle, it'll delete the page completely from the site. So anybody with a link then will unfortunately get a 404 error that the page is gone. So if you just want a page just to delete completely, it's just gone, history, bye-bye, out of here. You select recycle and the page just goes away. And just as before, you do have the ability to send out an email to yourself or to a group of people as well. So you can create a group and have it send out a notification to a group of people once that is done as well. Also in here within the properties, you can set reminders for pages. So you can set a scheduled reminder to go back and either look at a page or check a page for something. And you can also set what are called stale reminders. So if you want to make sure a page is being published every so many days, weeks, months, or years, you can set a stale reminder for a page. So that way you do get an email saying, hey, this page has not been published in the last week and it's supposed to be. So that way you can go take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. So you can go and say, hey, John, you've not published your page. Please go make sure you publish your page and get your edits done, that kind of thing. So that's where that is set. So, all right. Well, that is basically your monthly orientation for OU campus this month. So we will be doing this again next month, which will be on Friday, October 11th, 2019. And then also on the 24th of this month, I will be back online again doing a Training Tuesday for creating documentation for training your content editors and your admins and your approvers. So if you want to come back and get you're learning on a little bit more, I will be back again on Tuesday, the 24th, same time, 10 o'clock. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you got a lot out of this. And this will be posted again online shortly. So if you do want to watch it again, it'll be there for you. Thanks so much. And again, for the questions for Brian, I will get that out to you. If there are any other questions, I will hang out here for a few minutes. Please just put them through the Q&A. Otherwise, thank you all again for hanging out today. And I look forward, hopefully, to talking to all of you again sometime soon. Have a great afternoon and have a great weekend as well. Thank you. Oh, hi, Karen. I think I may have missed your question from earlier. I apologize. Scroll down at the bottom of the screen. Yes, the 15 pages, when the asset is changed, will be updated on the production server automatically. There's nothing you need to do. Once the asset is changed and published, those 15 pages will publish automatically on the production side. Iris, when you try to edit a page, you go right back to the home page. And right to the HR homepage. I'm not quite sure if I understand your question. Can you try to rewrite that question so I can maybe understand a little bit better? So when you try to edit a page, you go right back to your HR's homepage. Does that mean when you try to log into a page you want to edit, it sends you back to the HR homepage? Do you have permission to edit the page that you're trying to edit? My only guess is one of two things. Either you don't have permission to edit that particular page, or that page is already checked out. If one of those two things are happening, then it may redirect you to another page or to the home page. That's the only options I'm thinking that might be happening. You're welcome. All right, Vicky, you tried to link an asset. You tried to link it from the main, but did not show under your page. You mean you created an asset, Vicky, and you added it to your main page, but it did not show up? Is that what you're saying? And the asset was, and you published the asset already as well, correct? And you also republished the homepage too, or the page that you put it on? Okay. What I might need to do is take a look at your asset itself. Hold on, me make a note here, and I'll take a look at it for you when we get done here, Vicky. Which school are you with, Vicky? Oh, with Liz City. Okay. Well, I should have remembered that name. I apologize. All right. Yeah, I'll take a look at it as soon as we're done here. I'll look and see what you've got going, and I'll see if I can figure out what's going on with that for you. Not a problem. All right. Are there any other questions I can answer before I let everybody else go here? All right, guys, I'll go ahead and close up shop here. Vicky, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and log into your system in a few minutes here, and I'll take a look at what you've got going on, and I'll see if I can get your question answered for you, and I'll drop you an email once I figure out what is going on. You're very welcome.